This shows you the world is changing. Watch this.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers.
Okay, so why is he so focused on how people in South Africa, like the people are getting, like, it's bad obviously, but the world has no shortage of death, and the world has no shortage of suffering. So, I mean, all the people in Gaza, the people in Ukraine, although Ukraine has been helped a bit, like some will argue too much, and that's fair. But the people all around the different African countries, all kinds of Christians, all kinds of Muslims, all kinds of anyone, like people in China being persecuted, etc. Why is it that he's so hyper focused on one group of people who are farmers of all people in South Africa, that can't even contribute to the American economy? So I do think there's like a weird bias going on, for sure, and it's a little bit odd. He looks
those
so the
cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. But, okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa, that's what.
We need to find out.
South African president looks so uncomfortable. This is obviously something that Elon Musk kind of probably pressured Trump to do, because it's clear that Elon Musk has a lot of energy, like, has a lot of leverage over Trump for whatever reason. So, but this is just such a contrived, like, I mean, he could have picked like any white people, even if it was white people, he could have picked any white people suffering anywhere in the world. But why South Africa out of all countries in the world of white people that are suffering? He could have picked white Christians that are suffering, white Muslims that are suffering, and there are white Muslims in Bosnia, for example. Could have picked anything, but he chose to pick like South Africans. Elon must be South African. So that seems to be a big commonality. And they're farmers again. So it's not as if they can contribute to society as much as like white doctors, etc. What's the most...
Those people.
Okay.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter.
It's the most savage response I've heard from Trump to a reporter. But I guess it makes sense in a way, because it's like, yeah, what does the jet have to do with what the point he's trying to make? Because if he's trying to argue a point, stay on the topic, right? But the way he responded was actually hilarious. So since when does Trump actually care about people dying? Like, let's just be honest. He cares about America first. What happened to America first? America first. Like, this doesn't have to do with America making any money. This doesn't have to do with immigration. So for him to come and say that, okay, we won't have the most secure borders in the world, and then to bring refugees, whether they're white or black, doesn't really make sense. So, he has some things like, this one doesn't really make much sense, in my opinion. I think he's just doing this because maybe he owes Elon Musk a few favors, or he owes some people some favors, and he's just doing this to maybe because he
Not
lost the
smart
bet.
enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet. Let's go.
Thank you so much. President Trump, Anna Disaster from EMCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Steve.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation
I
that we've
don't
just
know.
seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, clearly Musk is actually the president of the United States. Musk is the president of the United States after watching this. 1000%.
Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know.
But you know that
To
there
pick
are
anyone,
people who are
white
now-
South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you.
No, I'd like
So
to-
when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couples say that they were attacked violently. And,
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is indeed true?
well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a report from President Ramaphosa,
Your
please?
reaction to those videos, Mr. President?
President Trump, would you-
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what.
Please allow Ramaphosa
And I
to
have other
respond.
friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it.
We're going to.
But this is a tremendous look. This is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed,
Yeah.
and I don't know how it can get any worse. These are. And you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march. They had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Well,
and
let me
it was
clarify that.
terrible. Yeah,
Let me
please.
clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy.
You could tell that this South African president, like, his heart is beating like out of his chest and he's freaking out of his mind right now. Like, the guy must be like literally having a heart attack right now, doing whatever it takes to not go crazy and not freak out. Super de-escalatory, super scared, super beta.
We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do
Which-
allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
And then
take
when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
Nothing happens to
There
them.
is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
The
been
farmers aren't
utilized.
black. The farmers are not black.
We
I don't
now-
say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off, they died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't
we
know
will
we'd get
talk about it.
involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it.
I mean, clearly, white people get killed, black people get killed, Chinese people get killed, Uzbekistan people get killed. Like, people get killed all over the world, regardless of the race. I mean, the fact that Trump is prioritizing white people in the world, you know, it shows that this is more seems like a Musk thing than a Trump thing.
About it, but they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force? Okay, the United States, not to me, to the United States Air Force, so they could help us out, because we need an Air Force One until that's Air Force One, it's being built. 2 of them being built. But Boeing's a little bit late, unfortunately. So why did they give us a plane to the United States Air Force? That's what that idiot talks about after viewing a thing where thousands of people are dead.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I'd take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay. But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are
And this is
problems.
precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you as the United States.
Those are all recent. Those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that, because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges. So I'd like us to discuss it, and of course outside of the media, so that we sit down and have a really good discussion that will lead to good outcomes.
Are there any other further punitive measures that could be in place should you not be satisfied that South Africa is fixing some of the very bad things, in inverted commas, that you tweeted are happening?
Well, there are a lot of bad things happening in many countries, but this in particular has been very, very bad, very bad. And because of we're going to have the whole world watching in another short period of time, because you have the G20, and that's a big deal. And it seems like, I want you to look good. I don't want you to look bad.
Very good.
But we have hundreds of people, thousands of people trying to come into our country because they feel they're going to be
Because
killed.
Trump is always about
And
America first. So clearly, like, him cherry picking, just like in our company, we have something called a cherry pick objection, where people would cherry pick a deal in somebody's fund. But basically, it's like people would go and cherry pick. In this case, Trump is going and cherry picking white people in a random country that's getting killed, whereas people of all races, at all times, at all moments, always get killed in every country. So not justifying his criminality, but the fact that you focusing on South Africa, because maybe his buddies are there, it just goes to show, man.
The land is going to be confiscated. And you do have laws that were passed that gives you the right to confiscate land for no payment. You can take away land for no payment.
I want to clarify that, because we have a constitution. Our constitution guarantees and protects the sanctity of tenure of land ownership. And that constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership. However, we do say, because we've got to deal with the past, the government, and as your government also has the right to expropriate land for public use.
And you're doing that.
And we've never really gotten underway with that. And we are going to be doing so.
You're taking people's land away
we have not.
from them.
We have,
and those people, in many cases, are being executed. They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away, and in many cases, those people are being executed. And in many cases, it's not the government that's doing it. It's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. They're also going to Australia in a smaller number. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country, and they're white farmers, and they feel that they're going to die in South Africa, and it's a bad thing. Yeah.